This video is brought to you by Sailing World and SailingWorld.com.
On the first day of the America's Cup World Series in San Diego, I had the opportunity to ride along with Terry Hutchinson in Artemis Racing. It was my fourth ride on an AC45, but the first time I was really able to experience the true potential of the boats. In 12 to 15 knots, the boats are extremely fast and extremely grueling to sail. After racing, I had a chance to ask Hutchinson both about that race in particular and about the AC45.
Yeah, I mean, it's a certain element of high risk. I mean, the first one that we were over early was, the group around us started to go, and we were the last to go, and we got called over. So, there was an element of risk there. I wasn't surprised that we were called, and if we hadn't been called, I wouldn't have been surprised either. I knew we were within a second. And then the next two, we were a little bit more conservative, and we got to the first marks both times and third. And so, but what's the difference between high risk and conservative? We're talking about a second. So it's pretty, it all feels high risk at times. There's so many things that we can do better. And so the mental mistake of being OCS is, that's always there. But, you got to hand it to the guys. So we're OCS and we get a 7th, and then we battle back and win the next race. And so really the top of the to-do list is just to stay dedicated to what we're doing. And if not waver at all in our commitment to that. It is a really, really tricky balance, between being close enough that you own the spot, but not too close that you can't, when you go to pull the trigger, that you can't accelerate with everybody around you. So, probably about a quarter of a length either side of you is pretty nice, where you can sail your mode. You'd rather have more room up than down occasionally, depending on how windy it is. Today, you'd rather have more room up to just keep the hull flying and keep the speed building. And that's the tricky part, is when you pick and choose your tacks, and you get out towards the boundaries and things like that, and determining when you tack, and ignoring the boundary to sail the shift. That's a big decision that you have to make. But as you point out, we got a really good header. We were patient. We waited for the breeze to come down, and all things kind of played into our hands there, and we were able to round the next top mark in the lead. In an ideal world, he trims the wing, but on the reach, because the gust response is so critical, I do it on the reach and he grinds for me. But the rest of the time, sometimes I ask him just to hold it, just because I'm feeling funniness in the boat and I'm trying to balance the boat out, and he's always quick to grab it back from me. But you're right. I mean, it's a difficult. He's in a difficult spot because occasionally he's required to do a lot of other boat handling things, and so yeah, it's all encompassing for sure. Defending against somebody sailing into more pressure. And that's pretty much all the way around the race course. In the lead, you're really defending hard against people sailing into more wind. So
you're just looking,
trying to intersect the puffs. Putting the boat in a good spot where you always get breeze. You want to cut the breeze off. So chasing it's probably not the right way to look at it. But if you see pressure coming, you want to sail all the way to it, and you want to make sure you get the boat into pressure, because things change so quickly that you get a little bit of breeze and you go a lot faster for that breeze. And so that's you definitely make sure you sail to the pressure. As you point out, we've been changing things up intentionally, and we're probably getting to the point now where all the other teams are surpassing us from that perspective, because they've all been sailing together now for 3 regattas.
The boat handling.
Yeah, the boat handling perspective, and that's a really difficult thing. We put ourselves under a lot of pressure for that, but keeping it all real and keeping it all moving forward and going. I'm in the position that I can say, because I'm not, I'm just driving the boat, I can, and I know how long things are going to take. It's like, hey, take a moment here to recover a little bit, because it's going to be, you got 2 minutes to a jibe or something. So it's, if you can communicate that to them and let them know when we're in a holding pattern, they can take a deep breath. It's a good thing to do, because it is an absolute whipping.